there, and welcome to this week's edition of the Culture segment. What a way to start with that beautiful tribute to all mothers. But I'm not talking about mothers today, but the person behind the song, Robert Kyagulanyi, popularly known as Bobi Wine. It is the very first song the Ugandan Member of Parliament released as the Kyadondo East Member of Parliament in Uganda in 2017. His name has been on the news in the past few days, especially after his arrest on August 13th. And this hasn't gone down well with many in the country. He was charged with treason last week and he is still in detention. Several people in Uganda and beyond have been calling for his release, and in social media, the Free Bobi Wine campaign is still trending. But who is Bobi Wine, apart from being a politician? He is a husband, a father, and as we earlier saw, a musician. Music is what made him rise to prominence. His music career goes back to the year 2000 when he came to the limelight. He has a huge following from the youth in the country, and he even crowned himself the Ghetto president. His entry into politics in 2017 has widely been seen as a threat to incumbent President Yoweri Museveni, who has ruled the country for 32 years now and still counting. A few months to last year's elections, several musicians joined hands and released a song in support of the incumbent, but Bobi Wine released a protest track called Dembe that directly targeted the president. Why don't you borrow a leaf from Mandela? He ruled a short period and surrendered power. Leaders who overstay in power is the reason why Uganda is rumbling at the words of this song. Big names in the music industry, as well as civil rights figures, have all come out to condemn his arrest and are demanding for his release. For example, Angelique Kidjo, Femi Kuti, Wole Soyinka, Coldplay's Chris Martin, Damon Albarn, and many others signed a letter last week condemning his unjust imprisonment and the government harassment he has faced. And it's not only Ugandans who are calling for the release of Bobi Wine. Kenya has also joined in the protest movement.
Free Bobi Wine! Free Bobi Wine!
I think as Kenyans, speaking it out to the world and showing the world what's going on there is our way of helping them out through the restrictions. So all the hashtags, hashtag Free Bobi Wine, definitely doing that.
My message to the government and to the system is that it's not enough to silence voices, because one voice is silenced, 1,000 other voices will rise. So the best they can do is to release Bobi Wine, let him get the required medical attention that he needs, and speak for the rest of us, because he represents our hope, and it's not enough to kill our hope.
But this is a phenomenon quite familiar in some African countries where governments harass artists who also have the role of activism, like Bobi Wine's. A good example is Nigeria's Fela Kuti, who faced the wrath of the Nigerian government in the 80s and 90s. He was a major voice of the opposition to the oppressive military regime through his music. His music was enough to make political leaders uncomfortable to the point of unleashing violence on him, bringing up trumped-up charges, illegal detention, and even killing his own mother. Another artist is Ethiopia's Teddy Afro. Some of his songs were banned, and even a launch party of his album was broken up by security forces. His lyrics and music videos have often been controversial and viewed by many as critical of the government. The difference between Fela Kuti, Teddy Afro, and Bobi Wine is that they were not involved in politics, and Bobi Wine is in the government. Seems the only way to make your voice heard is to first get into the system. But change is inevitable, as the Ugandan youth have decided this is their time. All they're asking is for their voice to be heard, as Bobi Wine is doing.
We are fighting for freedom. I say Wakiso Masaka, we are fighting for freedom. Yo, We are living in a time similar to the one of slave trade. This operation is what's done appetite. The gun is the master, citizen slave. The ball of Africa is bleeding. Question, what was the purpose of the liberation when we can't have a peaceful transition? What is the purpose of the Constitution?